Welcome to the You Need More Money podcast. I'm your host, Matt Manero, where I come to you from my studio in Dallas, Texas, each and every week. I got a new guy in here. Not a new guy to me, but he's going to sign my booth. Did you know you're coming to sign my booth?
I'll sign your booth.
Dude, I'm going to be buried in that booth because it has all the names of the people that I had on my podcast. When I'm done with that booth, it'll be signed by everybody, and I'm going to have them bury my ass in that thing.
You're about half filled up right now.
Yeah, but I need Tony Robbins. That's the ultimate goal, to get Tony Robbins to sign my book.
$275,000 for 4 hours.
Yeah, because I know you've checked it out. Yeah. My guest today is Anthony Delmedico, my friend Anthony, who has always been so damn good to me, man, and I appreciate you for that, buddy. I always do. It's great to see you. Great to have you in Dallas. I guess we're just going to talk about some business.
Talking about business, money. Kind of came in at the last minute here. I just told you I was in Dallas.
Love it.
You graced us with your presence at the Win the Storm conference in Miami 2 years ago, and then again Vegas last year.
It was great. I loved it.
Since you're here, I was here. I might as well stop by, see what you got going on.
Now you're in town shooting content for.
Yeah, we're shooting. We do the virtual training platform for contractors across America, how to launch, grow, scale, as entrepreneurs, specifically in the insurance restoration industry. So we go out and we spend a lot of time in the field with film crews. This week we're shooting, Dallas is storm capital of the country. So we got the big hailstorms here and damage on all kinds of roofing systems. So we shot a course with one of the major roofing manufacturers this week, how to sell it, how to assess it, how to install it, how to build it.
Yep.
How to deal with the warranty and all that kind of stuff, which in the future, thousands of people, contractors will be able to watch and then train their people without having to send them out to manufacturing facilities and all that kind of stuff.
So let's just go back, because I think one of the things that's most interesting about you is you've had to reinvent yourself a bunch of times, right, in your career. Many times.
Is that what we all do?
Well, if we got balls, we do, but a lot of us don't, so we don't, and we end up just staying who we are forever, man, and sometimes that sucks. But you built a massive roofing contractor business. How many locations did you have at your peak?
Physical brick and mortar. I was a general contractor / roofing contractor, so I think 10 states brick and mortar, but I opened up in 18 states over 15 years. But the brick and mortar, that's when you're actually running 10 at the same time. That was 2010, 2012, 10 locations coast to coast.
So let me ask you this. Why is it that some people end up as a roofing contractor with one location and 2 employees, and you ended up with a nationwide presence?
Yeah.
Tell me the mindset, because I always ask myself that question in my business. Why is it that one trucker starts with one truck and finishes with one truck, and JB Hunt starts with one truck and finishes with 10,000?
Right. Well, two is the nature of my industry, which was insurance restoration. So we would follow the storm model in order to open up a next office. So we use the Hurricane Charlie, Francis G, and the hailstorms of the Midwest as a reason, an excuse to enter into a market that we wanted to open. And of course, you accelerate a lot faster on revenue and profit after a storm. So then we would keep that office there, and we kind of use the storm model to grow. Secondly, I got ADD because I'm a crazy entrepreneur, so I don't like to sit in one place. So that's a personal thing. So even if I owned an ice cream stand, I'd probably get bored of that ice cream stand. So you open 10 more.
Had to be new. Had to be new. Had to be new. Had to be new. Had to be new.
So part of it's industry and part of it's just personal. Come from the military background, all that. So I like to move around, shake and move. And
you were in the military?
Yeah, I got military right out of high school.
Oh, I didn't know that. What branch?
Army.
You were
infantry. Yeah, 11 Bravo.
No kidding, man. Well, cool.
Pay for college, man.
Dude, thanks for the service. I did not know you were a military veteran. That's cool. How do you feel when people say thank you for your service? Because a lot of military guys don't like it, man.
Kind of cliche. I mean, it's nice, but some people just say it to say it.
I was at this event, this Jocko Willink event. You know who Jocko Willink is, the Navy SEAL guy?
Yeah, a little bit. Sure.
I was at this event, and he finally stopped people because they were doing a big Q&A, and they were starting with thanks for your service, and he said, man, I don't need anybody to say thanks for my service. And so I sat down with like his right-hand man at lunch, and I said, why did you guys say that? And he says, because we still got brothers that are out there, man. So for us, the mission isn't done, right? There's an element of all of us that wish we were still out there,
Yeah, I think most guys, really, it's nice to hear it, but I don't think they're looking for it,
I sat down next to one guy on a plane one time, and he was in his dress uniform, and all his buddies were walking down the aisle on the plane, and they weren't saying anything to each other. Like no high fives, no acknowledgement of each other or anything. And I turned to him, I said, man, that's kind of
branches.
I said, what's up? How come you guys aren't like, and he's like, dude, we left our families, man. It's like, we're just getting deployed for 6 months. We ain't thinking about each other. We're so sad that we're just leaving our families. It just got my mind spinning, right, man? I never thought about it that way. Yeah. So the thing is, how did you figure out a system to be able to staff, hire, sell, collect, account for, all that sort of stuff? I mean, that's what the fear is. People are like, fuck, I can't do it right in my business. How am I going to do it right in 10 businesses?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the reasons I joined the military was pay for college. Went to college, I got accepted into a top 25 MBA program, so I got my MBA in marketing, and I worked in corporate America for 3 years, Ecolab, downtown St. Paul.
Oh, no shit.
$2.5 billion publicly traded company. So I spent my first 3 years post-MBA working in a publicly traded company and seeing the echelons of key functional areas of a business, how companies scaled up, and then kind of fell out of love with corporate America and fell into this insurance restoration contracting world kind of by mistake or fluke of luck, I would say. Started out in sales and kind of fell in love and saw there's some real entrepreneurial opportunities in a mom and pop industry.
Yeah.
Here I'm sitting in this blue chip company, and I started just applying what I learned, military training to, MBA stuff to this industry that was just ripe with revenue and profits and growth, especially in the storm restoration model, but also ripe with mom and pops that are fairly unsophisticated. So I just brought, some training background, discipline from the military, along with basic common MBA stuff, how to run a business, key functional areas, sell, build, collect. Brought that into my first office. We skyrocketed. We went from 0 to 25 million by our second year. And then
where was that in Minneapolis?
Minnesota, yes. We started first as a. This is after I did a little sales for a couple companies, learned the industry, kind of eyeballed and spied on what they're doing.
Always knew you were going to be leaving, though. You were like, "This is."
Yeah, within a year. Yeah, I was like, "Yeah, we're going to outgrow these guys."
Because I know some Ecolab guys. They got a good comp plan there. Guys can make money at Ecolab.
Yeah, they got a good culture. It's a very hardcore sales marketing culture. That's how they grew their business, and I enjoyed working there for 3 years. But it's corporate America. I'm an entrepreneur.
Yep, totally.
So
different.
when I got into this industry, it had happened by mistake. First office went real well, and then I had a business partner. We thought, well, let's keep opening offices. So so we got this model down pretty quick where we could actually launch an office, and within 90 days, have a office manager, production manager, accounts receivable manager, a fairly good sales manager, although those are always hard to find. Sales
I'm
manager
looking
hired,
for one.
And just a blueprint, like a cookie cutter. There's 4 key managers, and then staffing up a 5, 10, 15-person sales team all at the same time. We had this down, we called it a 90-day rotation, almost like a franchise.
Yeah, but dude, that's you skimmed over so much there. I mean, how did you figure out? I mean, literally, where were you going to get these people? How the hell did you trust these people? How did you know they were going to work out? I mean, there's so much to it.
It's a blue-collar industry. Construction, roofing, restoration is blue-collar, so you don't attract top talent. We're not hiring Harvard MBAs into roofing companies, restoration companies. So, you're throwing Craigslist ads out here. But you start to put together, as we did, as we grew, a platform of this is what a production manager does. There was no training manual for us for it.
Yep.
This is what an AR manager does, especially in insurance restoration. It's different than normal contracting. You start to write out the manuals. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. And you try to find the right people and plug them in. Did we go through a lot of people? We went through a lot of people.
No shit.
And one of the problems as we did grow, because it wasn't clear of any pain, is, you go open this new office and those 4 people you left back here 3 states away, all of a sudden sales start dipping down,
right.
So-and-so's not showing up to work, then you got to fly over here,
then
he's flying over here. So as we grew, the revenue and profits actually in the office went down compared to our first 1 or 2.
Totally, 100%, yeah.
Those were like, man, we went from 0 to 25 million.
Yep.
We never did it again.
Right.
Because now you're running 3 or 4 offices. Now you got more overhead, more human beings, more W-2s.
Totally.
And they're never as passionate as the entrepreneur. It's not like you're dealing with a bunch of partners. You're dealing with people that want to go home at 5 o'clock and spend time with their family, and they're never going to be like you.
Yep.
And so your business actually, as you grow, becomes a little less efficient and productive.
It does, and less profitable too. The margins go down, and you cannot duplicate what you do at home office. The other thing is, while the cat's away, the mice will play.
Absolutely.
But you're a systems guy, man. I mean, I know that about you, right? So you were building these systems out. So I want to touch on that for a sec, because I think it's one of the biggest problems that business owners face is that especially as the entrepreneur, we think the staff knows what they're supposed to do, and we think we told them what they're supposed to do, and there's a massive gap between those two things.
They don't remember. They weren't paying attention. Part of it is they're just not as passionate as you.
Yeah, or you suck at communicating. That's a possibility too.
You said it the wrong way. They tuned you out.
Yep.
100 different things. But the biggest thing is they're there for a job. You know, you hope that you hire people that are as passionate as you, and you almost expect them to. That's one of my problems. It's like, why are they not as excited as me at 9 a.m.?
Yep.
Why don't they care that this box of nails is $28 and not $26? And the truth is, the average human being doesn't. If they did, they'd be starting their own business, right?
Yeah.
And they're there to perform some. So you have to, as you grow, you have to accept that you're going to have the 70% level.
Yep.
And if everybody's at 70%, that's a home run because it's hard to even get there.
Well, I had to learn that the hard way, though, man, because I thought everybody was supposed to do it the way I wanted it done.
100%.
And what I learned is that you don't have to necessarily pull back on your expectations or your push. You just can't be a jerk about it. Right. And I was a big-ass jerk for a long time.
I guess I still am, according to myself.
You really think so? You think your people think you really push?
Well, I think some days I still get, I'm an intense person
no doubt.
in business.
Super.
My house could be a mess, but my business and my office has to be, it's a different thing. It's
That's the goose, man. That's the goose that spits out the golden eggs.
Well, it's providing jobs, payroll, everything else. You take care of business, it takes care of you. So, I take the business thing, I just take real intensely seriously. And so some people don't understand that intensity. That's still left over for the military. Yep. That's why you hire a good HR manager.
I got it. But also why you got to have real systems and processes, man.
Yeah, now systems as we grew, one of our systems, some of it's common sense, to centralize your hub. Wherever your home office is, your hub, your accounts receivable, your accounts payable, your master production. We were one of the first ones to centralize production where we could actually build jobs in multiple states from one location. Because with technology, as technology improved over the last 15 years, you could actually use things like Google Earth, as different things come out. Different CRM platforms started coming out where you could actually order jobs, drop jobs through suppliers in Florida while you're in Minnesota. And as long as you had one guy on the ground down there, your quality control, your field project manager, you could run jobs in Florida from Minnesota. You couldn't do that 20 years ago, but 10 years ago you could start doing it. So as technology was evolving, we were learning as we went, going, well, how do we collapse as much as we can into the base and then have these satellite spoke offices out there that weren't real flush with overhead and managers, but just more of a sales with one office manager type deal. And so we got good at flexing those up and down. And then
flexing those up and down. That's a great term. You're talking about scaling and contracting, scaling and contracting.
Yeah, every April, everybody's unemployed. Every April starts. But in the store model, I'm kidding. But in the store model, you tend to have to flex up and down quickly. Hurricane Charlie hits. All of a sudden, you need 50 people in Orlando. That's called flex up.
No doubt.
You need them tomorrow. Or you could lose out on millions and millions of dollars of revenue. So it's a military mindset, mobilization. But you're almost like launching a new business every time a storm hits, even though you have a model. We just got very good at that cookie cutter. And so go fast forward to 2012, me and my partner eventually got sick. You ever had a business partner you couldn't stand anymore? No. Okay, well.
I never had a business partner, that's why.
Good for you.
Ever.
Well, some business partnerships and marriages don't work out. There's a 52% divorce rate. Probably the same in business partnerships. So about 2012, him and I just had to part ways. Ego, money, things changed. We had a good run. I could still talk about the bad things. We had a good run for 12 years, 13 years.
Who takes more blame for that, you or him?
He should.
He should.
It's just, look, it was a mutual beneficial, very productive relationship for 12 years. And then for whatever reason, we just couldn't work together. So, call it for what it is.
But what was the reason? You know what the reason was. What was it?
Well, I think it's money. I think money changes people.
Okay.
Greed. But the basic thing that led to the greed was we split our accounting department up. When we flexed to 10 offices, brick and mortar, coast to coast, we decided to also switch our accounts. Remember I said that hub office? We run a lot of strategy, a lot of coherent strategy and financial procedure was run out of the hub. We decided to split that ARAP into 2 locations. So now you had an accounting function over here and an accounting function over here. Well, suddenly protocols change, rules change. They things do differently over here. They do things differently. Communication starts happening. Certain car movements are made over here, not over here. And all of a sudden there's that tension.
Yep.
And once that goes too far, it's hard to break back. So I think splitting the hub was the worst mistake. And it's now you're having 2 separate AP functions, 2 separate AR, because now it's not being controlled by one directional strategic point, which was typically myself throughout those years. And now that you get different people making different rules, different salespeople on different comp plans, and just keep being competitive.
within
a company.
Got it.
Absolutely, like two different companies.
So just walk me through, because I haven't experienced that before. Who cries uncle first? I mean, who made the phone call that said, "Look, today's the day that we're going to shit or get off the pot"?
I don't know if there's a right person to do that. It was a series of things that happened, and then it just became an ego problem. And then you realize that, look, we're two different entrepreneurs and we're going a different way. And quite honestly, I've been on the road for 14 years, opening offices.
Yep.
And I was already starting to think that I don't want to do this for another 20 years. You can only chase storms for so long. Man.
Right.
It's like being in the military, going to war, every storm season. So I was already looking for a new platform, and I saw a need in this industry. As I grew in the industry, I'm like, dude, there's no books. There's no training programs. There's
nothing
no
online.
Course, not for insurance restoration per se. I mean, you could take a license, learn how to be a licensed general contractor, learn about, here's the code. These are the kind of nails you use in this wood and all this. But they don't teach you how to run a business, how to hire salespeople, what kind of recruiting ads you use, how do they knock doors, how do they sign deals, what is a deal. All that stuff is pretty new. Mm-hmm. And it changes often on the insurance restoration side. So we created stuff as we went. So after this 12, 13, 14-year experience of scaling, I had a huge blueprint of stuff that worked.
You had the system.
I had the system, man. I had the recipe, the cookie cutter, the line.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but I don't want to do it anymore. And I didn't want to franchise, because I started a franchise. The name, we couldn't, because we were legally separated. So I couldn't even use the name, nor could he. We made a decision to split it up. Downsize. So instead, I took the business model, made it even better, packaged it up, called it SVG.
Yep.
Now I sell that
Storm
business
Ventures
system.
Group.
Yeah, now Storm Ventures Group is you call it a boutique consulting company, A to Z, everything an entrepreneur could possibly dream of needing in the $100 billion insurance restoration industry as a contract, whether it's a contract form document, I don't care if it's a recruiting ad, PowerPoint, a whole virtual training program to sell our people, whatever it is, we have everything they could possibly need for each key functional area of their business.
So here's the thing, though. Big takeaway. Number one, big industry. I call it a platform. There was a huge opportunity. There was revenue all over the place for somebody to grab, right? Because somebody could do the same thing in what I call a shitty platform. And they're made listen, there's a lot of printers out there, right? And everybody gives me shit when I start naming industries that I think are shitty industries. But you don't want to be a one-man printer. But it's really hard to be a 100-man printer, right? But in your business, you saw that. And then you also saw the problem, which was nobody is helping these guys run better businesses.
No books, no training, nothing. I mean, there was nothing there for us as we grew.
Yeah.
And so I felt instead of getting back into what him and I did, which I could have easily done, still be doing it now.
Yep.
I want to launch a go-to point for the entrepreneurs. And it was a crucial time because Hurricane Sandy just hit, and I was actually getting calls from guys. They knew I was downsized. Like, hey, man, can you come help me for a couple weeks? I don't understand this industry. I need help in my office. I need to hire. I did a couple of those, and I realized, man, there's a whole industry that needs help.
Yep.
And that was a special niche. I think you're right. There's lots of industries out there, from the ice cream shop to just about anything, where people need help as entrepreneurs. Most entrepreneurs don't get the help they need in their particular niches.
No.
But that one I just happen to be good at. Been going well. We did the conference, the end of the year party. But the biggest thing is the virtual training platform, which now I can help train in a virtual world a sales guy, a marketing assistant, an office manager, production manager, accounts receivable, every position needed to run a $20 million plus roofing restoration company, I can train virtually 24/7.
Yep.
And that's a lot better than flying around in their offices like I did today. I've been flying all over Texas, jumping to people's sales meetings. Right
sleeping in a hotel. You didn't get a good night's sleep. I mean, my deal is, listen, if I'm not sleeping in my own bed, I got to get paid.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's how it works.
Well, it's just a lot of work, and one human being can only train so many.
Right.
So if we bring 50 people in your room here, and I do a 2-hour motivational powwow, people feel good when they leave. They're only going to remember 2 or 3 things in the next 3 days.
Yep.
But if they can access that same thing 24/7 over and over again, and then test out on it, we can make them retain the data.
Yep.
They can also go see it again when they need it.
Yep.
And that's, in essence, is the what virtual training is all about.
I love it, but you actually got really fortunate because it was uncharted territories. You had literally no online systemization training for your niche.
Yeah,
it didn't exist.
Not even for contracting in general. There's not a virtual training platform. And for even contractors or home builders right now. That's a whole other area.
Oh, my God.
We
That's
call
so
it retail.
Awesome, yeah.
But the storm side is very unique. And so we started there. We're starting now, actually.
Well, that was your expertise as well, right?
Yeah. And we're starting now to shoot, more retail-related courses. And I'm starting to think there's just a lot of general entrepreneurship people need help. Should I be an LLC versus a partnership? What's
Simple stuff, of course.
How do I do a buy-sell agreement? How do I do my taxes at the end of the year? Most entrepreneurs have fundamental problems from A to Z on just the most basic stuff in business.
And the beautiful part's why I'm doing business finishing school. It's the same thing I was just showing you. The same reasoning that it's just like The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, right? It's the same problem. That book was written in the late 80s, early 90s. It's still the same recurring problem. There's millions of businesses that are being started because Bubba the trucker said fuck you to his boss and said, I'll do it better. And he doesn't know shit about running a business, but he sure knows how to drive a tow truck.
He's still flipping burgers. He's running his burger stand. He's flipping the burgers.
You got it.
But he doesn't know how to open the other burger stand, which requires hiring, which requires finance capabilities.
Dude, it's the nightmare of small business ownership, right? Is that we just bought ourselves a job.
Yeah.
It's the nightmare of being a small business owner. It's terrible, and it exists 25 million times a day in the United States. It's a huge recurring problem. You just happen to have found this amazing niche because there's profit in your client base too, which is very interesting, right? There's a lot of guys
they generate a lot of revenue.
They do.
Money and run into a lot of cash flow problems because of that sometimes. But, but it is just a lot of revenue profit, and they do have the money to invest in training and scaling their companies.
And they're hardcore hustlers too.
Absolutely,
they know how to get out, and they're not afraid of taking control of their destiny. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of saw the nature.
Dude, but I financed enough of them too, man. Yeah. I mean, I know when I see a deal for a roofer, I know that guy's personality, right? He is not afraid. He's almost a nomad, you know. That guy's going to go where the money is, and I love that about him. But I also know that their systems are fucked.
Yeah,
it's broken back in the office. You know, so congratulations for figuring that shit out, man. And now where do we go? What happens from here? You're figuring out now that the platform's good, you got enough recurring revenue coming. You're like, how do I bolt on all these different industries?
I'm trying to find. I've exhausted what I can. You know, I have so much experience in the industry. Great, I have kind of exhausted what I can put into the industry. There's only so much gray matter out there. Now I'm on search for this is what makes it fun. Now I find other entrepreneurs that want to shoot courses with me in there. There's enough of me in there. And so I go find, there's always somebody that knows more of you about something. Like we went on Duralast, this roofing system. My company probably put on 3 over 15 years. We met the manufacturer rep out there and a crew that probably does them every day. And now we're shooting courses with them, getting the manufacturers inside so that they can teach along with me. I just ask a lot of dumb questions, make it fun now.
Yeah.
But we can teach people with expertise and different expertise and backgrounds that have. Like we have an HR lady flying in, does a lot of legal stuff. She's flying into my green room next week. Contractors are notoriously horrible, just like I am at human resources. Do you even have an HR manager? What is an HR manager?
No, they don't.
Do I have a safety manual in my office or the whole harassment? The contractors are horrible at it. So she's going to come in, we're going to package all that up, have templates in the file vault, and we're going to talk about HR. Now, I'm not the one to talk about HR, but I can sit there and ask her a lot of dumb questions, come up with some funny stories, and let her teach in a fun way.
You're the front man.
Training
You're the front man.
About the basic stuff that these guys should have in their offices so they don't get sued. You know
but here's the deal, man. I need the audience to get this because it's really important, and I hope it didn't get skipped over. You were an expert in your niche. And because of that, you were able to create a product line that then has these bolt-ons and these other relationships. But it started by you being a freaking master at what you do. And that's what I think most people don't do in business. They still sort of limp in. They want to be a generalist. They want to be okay at a lot of different things. And I say bullshit to that, man. Go all in, pick your niche. Look, we finance 4 industries: trucking, towing, construction, and moving. That's it. If you're my towing company and we finance your trucks and you want to buy a restaurant, I can't help you. If you want to buy a commercial building, I can't help you. If you want to buy a forklift, I can't help you. I only finance in 4 industries. That's it.
Is that a choice or is it?
I made that choice. And if you go further in our niche, we only finance used equipment. We'll do some new equipment, but mostly used for bullets credit. Really, really good credit customers only. So it's like a niche of a niche of a niche. And we just happen to be in a massive industry that allows us to do a couple $100 million a year, right? But a lot of people don't get that. They're afraid to pick, and you didn't. And now you have the opportunity to expand because of the expertise.
Well, I think people know first of all, if you're a C- player, people aren't going to follow your game, right?
They're not going to pay for you.
So if you're not really good, if you don't know every detail down a box of nails on a job site, in terms of like profit margins or how to order something, how to sell it, how to build it, how to collect it, why would somebody buy your stuff? You have to become an expert. You have to show that you made money in it, and you have to have a passion to actually train other people. But you can have a passion to train other people and maybe be an entrepreneur. But if you didn't step in that shoe and become the expert, like you said yourself first, people are going to sense that.
Yeah.
They don't want to follow a C- player around. They want to follow someone who's had an A game.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. Being passionate, that leads to being passionate about what you do. The next level for virtual training. I'm a big believer now in virtual training. I think the next after this industry, 2 years from now, is to open it up for entrepreneurs in general.
Yeah.
And I think there's a big market. I'm talking billions, not just here, but Europe, China, emerging third world countries.
But it's more crowded. You have a lot more phonies in it. You have a lot of fakes in it. You've got a lot of guys that think they're an entrepreneur that never really done much.
Right.
That becomes problematic as you expand outside of the niche.
Out of your niche, but now you can drop your price down, scale it.
True.
Domino's Pizza last week. He can join your program for $99 a month. He doesn't even need anybody to call. Nobody even needs to call and demo him on your program. You slide his card off. So I think part of that is branding yourself.
Dude, I share the same thing.
Branding yourself as being an expert, and you create your own following. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of goofballs out there doing a lot of things, but the guys popping up on Facebook every 5 minutes. Hey, follow my MLM and da da da. I mean, people know. Mm-hmm. That's why I like doing the conferences, getting out there. I think the Facebook pages. You got to build your network from scratch.
You're really good up on stage too, man. I mean, you are.
Am I?
You are nobody would question your knowledge.
You go out there, you see 2,000 people out there.
Sure. Until you open your mouth, and then it goes away, right?
But you're standing in the stairway, you're like, oh man, there's 2,000 people out there. It's 9 in the morning. They're still a little grumpy and hungover.
Where was your first one? Where was your first win the storm? Miami?
That first one was actually in Scottsdale, Arizona.
It was so close to your hometown.
We didn't have a name for it yet. It wasn't called. We had 50 people show up.
You did.
50 guys want to learn about how to make more money. In this business, in this industry, mostly half the guys knew me because I used to compete against them. Like, hey, let's do a little conference, and it was just getting some guys together talking about how to, do better in the industry and sharing some ideas. And then, the next year was a couple hundred.
Yeah,
and then the first one in Vegas was about 700 people.
Mm-hmm. And then you went to Miami.
And then we went to Miami, and that was about 1,500.
Yeah.
Then we went back to Vegas last year, and now it's a full trade show floor.
Yep.
2,000, 2,500 people, and it's a lot of work putting together. It's fun, and now we got the training wheels on. Now I kind of after you do 3, 4, 5 of them, now there's it's another cookie cutter.
Totally.
It's not a huge money maker. If anybody tells you they're making money on these events, they're lying to you. There's a little bit of money in it, but you really do it to bring the network together.
Yeah.
And hopefully have some value to offer. These folks later on.
Yeah, for you, it opens the opportunity for your online platform for people to be exposed to
products,
sure,
but also the network. Bringing the other vendors in, the other speakers.
Like you had Vaynerchuk at Vegas. He was your keynote, right?
Gary Vaynerchuk.
How does the negotiation to get a Vaynerchuk go? I mean, is it literally just call his office and they're like, "Here's our price"?
Yeah,
pretty much.
$90,000 an hour.
No shit.
I think that's a going rate for Gary V.
Wow.
We had Les Brown the year before. They all have different rates.
You had Cardone the year before too.
Cardone the year before.
Yeah.
Then we had Les Brown.
And when you're figuring out that speaker thing, what are you doing? You're saying. I mean, there's just enough of a draw.
Yeah.
It doesn't really.
My audience is on my. Believe it or not, most guys that own contracting businesses didn't even know who Gary Vaynerchuk was. And that's who's buying tickets. And so most of them didn't know who. A lot of them knew who Les Brown was, and a lot of them didn't even know who Grant Cardone was.
Wow.
Now their salespeople did.
Yeah.
And so their salespeople, the younger guys, hear, oh, these guys are coming. But at the end of the day, they was like, I don't care who these people are.
Got it.
If their vendors are there, if there's some speakers there, there's some breakout sessions, you're going to learn something related to their industry. They're like, all right, I'm going to go. Maybe I'll learn 3 new things.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll bring my wife too.
Yeah, the keynotes really didn't it didn't sell tickets for us. It was more for me, I think, an ego to brand the conference with something special, and make it different, and maybe put some sexiness into the roofing restoration industry. That's why I do the AC/DC music, the Vegas dancing girls.
Totally.
The whole show thing kind of goes with it. Now people think of it as, that was a really fun time.
Yep.
Some interesting speakers. But before that, you think those speakers sometimes will bring in ticket sales, but not as much as you think.
So what are you going to do in Vegas? You're going to get another big name keynote?
We're just planning it out now. I mean, we just officially opened our marketing. We used to market it all year now. Now we're going to start just going hardcore marketing like 3-4 months in advance because we got the brand. We know a lot of people are returning. Half our trade show floor already rebooked.
That's awesome.
So we know the markets there. We're probably not going to do a big name keynote. I'd like to do something. I would really like the Wounded Warriors, bringing in, like, we brought Travis Mills in last year.
Killer, yep.
Lost his arms and legs in Afghanistan. He was actually the most impactful speaker from our notes.
Yep.
He's just cover our costs. You give him a small speaker fee, and
that's awesome.
The Wounded Warriors.
Yep.
I like guys like that as non-industry.
Yep.
appreciate life a little more when you guys stand in front of you, motivating you.
Big
You got no arms,
time.
no legs.
Big time.
And you're grumbling about your EBITDA.
Yep, totally, man.
My EBITDA is a little lower this year. And my 5 sales guys left me. Well, you still got your arms and legs, man.
But you know what I love about all those conferences, man, whether I've been attendee or even started to speak at some of them, it's everybody's blowing smoke, man, right? Everybody's so busy. It's so good. It's unbelievable. They're so competitive against each other, right? And the reality is most of them just got to just chill out and just learn at those damn things, you know? Just slow it down and freaking take some knowledge instead of puffing everybody's chest. I get such a kick out of it, you know?
Almost alpha entrepreneur males or
Yeah.
I think they know everything. I'd say, a lot of the guys that come to our conference, they're looking for those next 3 new things to learn.
Yep.
It's not all. I mean, you get the competitive ones, but they're looking for that one breakout session, that one new vendor, or that new drone technology that does this.
Yep.
A lot of them just want to get away from their business for a
Totally.
couple days.
Absolutely.
Our motto is, look, sometimes you need to get away and work on your business for a few days instead of in your business, because you might just have a beer with a guy that triggers one thought that changes the whole way you run your production or do something. Just because you got away, you got that thought. It has nothing to do with the conference. It might just be a conversation. And so sometimes it's just for the fun.
Yeah. And you opened up in Vegas. You had a bunch of sidebar events too, right?
Yeah. So
Which
pick
was
and
fun.
choose. We call them breakout sessions. Sometimes just come and have some beers with some guys you normally compete with.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a good group, man.
Yeah.
It's a good group of people. I like it a lot. So listen, man, I appreciate you. The one thing I want to say to you that I think is fascinating is that, you do have the ADD and the passion and the energy and all that sort of stuff.
I thought all CEOs have some form of ADD.
Of course. But you pair it with structure, which I think is so interesting to me. Right? And that to me is the missing piece between the guys that do it, flash in the pan, make a little bit of money, and those guys that build fucking legacy businesses.
Nice.
Right? 10, 20, 30-year businesses. That's what I'm trying to do.
I've read an old statistic that most successful CEOs have some form of OCD, ADD, little bipolar disorder, and maybe a little bit of, but great multitasking.
Dude, we're lunatics. We're lunatics. I mean, we just see the world differently, And the sooner we realize that and we start playing in that direction, the better. But you can't play in that direction without hiring other people to fix the shit you're not good at.
So, so if you are a lunatic, then you just have to have a good HR manager.
You got to have a good HR manager. You got to have a good accounting manager. You better have a good sales manager.
You put a little buffer in there.
Dude, you have to have that stuff. I mean, people don't understand that about business. Dude, I was told only one hand works the register, right? That your employees are going to screw you over. It was such bullshit. None of it is true. Dude, you can't scale a business without people on your damn team.
No, you got to have people.
You got to have freaking people to help you grow it.
Key hires, you got to hire the right people, and you got to have a training program to train them in the right way.
You have to bring them in, and you have to outlay it, and that's what I like what you're doing, man. So great to see you again, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in, man. Awesome. See you down the road, y'all.